Morning, you guys. So I've been messing with my 1973 Chevy K20 with the 14 bolt and a 14 bolt in the rear, or Dana 44 in the front and 14 bolt in the rear. Sorry about that. And today I'm just messing around with the front brake lines, or the overall brake lines, and this is my proportioning valve for disc and drum. And so I've been looking around on YouTube, and I've been looking around on forums and stuff. I could find like a lot of people talking about buying PV4s and like 1980 like Corvette, I think, master cylinders and shit. But I kind of just want to use what I got, and I kind of already bought a new master cylinder for my truck anyways. I painted it up already, so I don't want to do that extra work. So I'm going to try to get away with this for now, and fuck, it's my wheeler, so, you know, not my daily. It could be my daily, got to overdrive in it. But anyways, so I'm trying to pull apart, this is my proportioning valve, which is pretty much like a brake line reducer. So it reduces the power for my drum brakes, because drum brakes will lock up between like what, 200 or 250 to 300, 350, I think. That's when they start locking up, which is what you don't want to happen. But since I've converted my Dana my 14 bolt to disc brakes using a lug nuts kit off of eBay, you could probably get it a little bit cheaper if you just do all the resourcing yourself. But you know, lug nut was right there, and it was kind of easier, and it was my first time messing with all that shit, and I kind of just wanted to get done with, and it was kind of like my time to explore, you know. So next time I'm going to be doing the disc brakes in the rear on my blue truck, which is straight axle swapped, Dana 44 in the front and 14 bolt in the rear into that truck too. Both have 410 gear ratios, both have 350s, the 5.7 stock for now. This one's gonna beef you up later, but right now I'm building a 6.5, or I'm going to be building a 6.5 for that truck with like marine injectors and like the HX40 and shit like that. Probably, yeah, marine injectors, HX40, DB2, fuel injector, those mechanical ones, and then that's probably about it for now. Fuck it, you know, just easy power. Back to this. So pretty much right here, this little bolt right here with the hole in it is this guy right here. And right here is their proportioning part, I think. I don't really fucking know. But this is what I assume to be the proportioning part as well with this. This is the spring I removed with the cap. And that sits on this little guy that goes back and forth. That little guy sits right in here. And then there's this little bolt with this little guy that goes up and down, this little sensor, and that's what this wire goes to and shit like that. But anyway, so that goes back and forth to tell you, I imagine, if your brake line, if you're like loose in like brake fluid, if you're low in brake fluid in your front end loads, I think that thing will go back and forth. Or if something goes too far or some shit like that, it'll ground out or whatever. It'll ground that shit out. But so I've removed this part. I drilled this guy out, which is also what I think does the whole, so my buddy told me, and I also read on a few, I don't know if I read on a few forums, but I think I saw it somewhere. I don't really fucking remember too much, but I think the drum brakes are supposed to have like a constant like 2 PSI on it. For some reason, just to hold the shoes in place, or like stop rattling, or just constant friction is good for it for some reason, I don't know. But disc brakes, I guess you don't want that. You want the least amount, but like you don't want them fucking rattling and shit, you know. So I drilled that sucker out, pulled this piece off that clicks on. This thing just clicks on there. The spring sits against here. And also, I actually made a video right before this, but I had to fucking redo this whole thing. You're welcome, because I fucking forgot to tell you that I drilled this shit out. Or I didn't drill it, but I cut it. So, right here, this little square thing I drew is the rear brake inlet line. That's where the rear brake goes in, and it goes through all this junk and comes out that way to reduce it and shit. I cut this cap So pretty much from here to like, I did a little bit behind there, so I didn't, this was all free and clear. So I cut from here all the way back, but I wanted to keep this back plate because this back plate right here, the whole cup, holds this piece in place. This piece has like a little O-ring and some like brass washers and shit that slide on, so the thing can slide and shit. And then this little back piece is locked in by the spring and this proportioning part. I'm just gonna call it a proportioning part, and the fucking bolt that fucking screws the shit in. So that's why I didn't take that piece out in general, because I needed this to hold the spring in, to hold this in, to hold this in. And the reason why I just didn't take all that junk out is just because it's just in case. So like, I don't know this for sure, but my ideology is if I take all of this junk out and make it a true 50-50 where like the front and rears are fully open back and forth, I think that could be bad if I got like a leak in my front or got a leak in my rear, and I didn't want to, and I would just lose all my fluid instantly. You know, like how for being a dumb fuck, like I lose a lot of braking power, a lot. Like my brakes, I have a constant fucking bleed in my rear drum right now, but in my blue truck, on my daily, but I'll fix that later someday down the road, you know. But you know, just for safety measures, I would like to have them somewhat separate, so if I do spring or leak into my rear, I don't fucking run out both brakes, because I do not have an e-brake. I'm just running some line locks, so I have no mechanical e-brake, which is kind of sketch, being how I just built a ship and I'm just kind of swinging it, you know. But so I kind of want this thing to be separate anyways, I keep saying, to keep my fronts separate than my rear. You probably could just take it all out. I don't know how it's gonna, honestly I don't really know how it's fucking gonna drive, because disc, I just imagine it's like 50-50. Pups, get over here. But also, so from doing some eBay, or not eBay, but YouTubing, you want your back brakes to stop slightly before your fronts, or at the same time at least, because you don't want your front brakes to stop before your rears, because that makes it more likely for your ass end to sling out and shit. I mean, that bed's fucking heavy. That bed's like 700 fucking pounds, dude. Like, it snapped some straps trying to like lift it up when I did my bed swap. But yeah, you want the backs to stop in sync with the fronts. You don't want the back to swing out and shit. So that's why I wanted to do like a 50-50, so it gets the same pressure. There's no real delay where you'd kind of have with the drum brakes. Drums would start hitting, well, drums activate at a lower PSI. That's why you can press the pedal and they're going to hit before your disc, you know. So like, you start pressing the pedal, your drums are going to activate because they start clenching or expanding or whatever below 200 PSI. And like, disc brakes are starting to pinch at like in the thousands and shit, I think. Like, so the amount of squeeze, the back squeeze way faster or way more grip than the fronts. They have way more traction. The traction just stops your brakes a lot easier and locks up a lot easier than the front's trying to squeeze it. Even though, but you can just get a lot more squeezing pounds than you can get pushing pounds for some reason. Or, I don't know. Make sure those don't fucking spin out on you. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out to do. For my master, this is why I'm not just going with the 80s Corvette or whatever one, because I kind of just repainted it. I kind of really like it like this, and I put a lot of effort into painting it, so I'm not going to do that. There's also people checking the bore size and shit. I'm not doing that. Just kind of swinging it. These are two line locks, electronic line locks. And so pretty much what they do is when I press the brakes, they work normal. And if I press the brakes and I flip the switch, it'll lock them. So either my front brakes will be locked or my rear brakes will be locked. So hopefully, I did the rear one, so I have that like e-brake kind of. But also it's a manual transmission, so I'm just gonna leave it in gear. But it'd be nice to have e-brake somewhat, just a lock. And so if I'm like, or if I'm four-wheeling and I'm up on a ledge, I can put a line lock on my fronts, stop from sliding, and then just kind of like wheel it forward, or, you know, just do it. Also, I can do some sweet roll and burnouts with this thing like this, so we went with this. But yeah, some fucking curly cues right there. So I got the kit off of, I think from like Lugnut or someone. There's also a 13 bolt, so this is actually not a 14 bolt, this is a 13 bolt, just to be clear. It's missing this lower 14 that was cut with like 3. Dude, that thing just cut right good with angle grinder, it cut so nice. But yeah, it's like 3/8 plate with 1/4 inch plate over the top. Got that off of, I think, eBay as well, but that was some thick shit. The first one they sent me actually was a little warped, but they totally sent me a new one, no problems, and they were totally chill about it. That's a Rough Country 12-inch lift brake line, and those are the calipers, caliper angle bracket things, and then rotors that I got off of eBay. Here, let's get this. Boom. Yeah, so I just paint them all red because they're way cooler when they're red. I got the upgraded stainless steel version of the lines that go around, and you know, honestly, you can use any lines as long as they match up with your banjo and you just get the right fucking nut back there. Like, you're gonna have to redo your lines probably. I did, because this whole truck is like fucking different trucks. It's like 7 different trucks in one, so like that nut was different than that nut, and that nut's different, you know, so kits don't really work for me too well, but they get me close enough to where I can usually bust out in like a weekend and a night. But yeah, it has those different positions, so you can clock the fucking caliper bracket, you can clock it different ways, but you just want to make sure that this piece, the little bleeding nipple thing, bleeding zert or whatever, is up, so not down. And make sure you get a right and a left one. You can get them, you could probably get it a little cheaper than you can get on Lugnut if you do more of the resourcing yourself, but I just went with this for now just because I want to make sure I had all the pieces. But I also, within getting this kit, I also got new bearings and races. I also got a nice fucking, yeah, a nice enough foreskin. Dual tanks, yeah, MP205, or yeah, 205. But yeah, anyways, you can get them cheaper if you go through like auto parts stores or just look around eBay. They're fucking Dana 44 and corporate 10 shit. You know, get the fucking disc brakes, caliper, the disc brake calipers, disc brake like pads, and the rotors for like a 73 to 87, I believe. You can find those forums, dude. Just Google it. It'll pop right up. It'll be like the first or second page up. But yeah, you just need those. I also needed bearings. Might as well do bearings, you know, if your thing's old, might as well get new bearings. I used the stock wheel studs. Fucking stock wheel studs. And then there was also, I also used a speedy sleeve on this side. I had a little bit, I used two speedy sleeves. Because those are fucking expensive. I paid 60 bucks a piece for a fucking speedy sleeve. Crazy. But yeah, because I had an oil leak a little bit, and I had some rust, and you know, I was back there, might as well do it fucking right, you know? Might as well do it right. I really want to drive this fucking truck, but really want to get fucking Gucci. You know, you got a PSD steering pump or gearbox, I mean, off-road leaf springs, off-road design leaf springs, tough stuff winch. But yeah, new radiator, dual electric fans, As an overdrive unit, here, I already did a walk around my truck and I think I put on YouTube, but fuck it. I'm gonna have the YouTube rolling. We'll just do this really quick. Fucking have an overdrive unit right in here. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. 4-speed with granny geared out, twin stick, MP205, and then a CB. And then back there are my dual fucking 15-inch LS7s, kicker LS7s. Fuck yeah. I'm also putting a digital dash in this bitch. Need to find a new hood mounting system though. Fuck, these springs are heavy as shit. Like, it was bending my hood when I was closing that shit. Anyways, sorry, got a little sidetracked. Have a good day, you guys.